Ready? Are you ready for this? Good morning. This is a fine day. It is now cold. Everything became cold because it is. I had this dream where I was in the alternate trailer. The alternate trailer has a door on the side where I just have a window. I found a cat food bag and I reached into it because I felt it shake with cat food. And I reached my hand in there and I grabbed this handful of cat food, dry cat food, and I go around the outside to put it in the bowl. And I tell the cat who was sitting up on top of the chair where he normally is, and it's all snow out there. And I put the cat food in the bowl and I call the cat. Now the cat sticks his head up and it looks like one of them damn, what do you call those dogs? The ones that have the flat face. It was the exact same as the cat, except it was a dog. It was like a damn Shih Tzu, a giant Shih Tzu dog with the big old head. It was like you took the fucking cat's normal head, gave him the mane of bullshit ass dumb hair, and smushed his face in all the way up. And I set the food there, and I was like, okay, I don't know what you are. The cat was there too, but there was the dog and a cat and two other people. Like they were people. There was also homeless people was on the outside huddled up with our animals on the outside. I was like, what in the fuck is that? So I go back inside. Now, in my dream, it must be Christmas or something. My stepdad was here. He was getting up, and I had a laptop that had some game on it that was like, it was like, I think it was almost like Joust, like something you would play at the arcade in the 80s. The fucking Joust where you're jousting with the damn, you're on the back of a goddamn, on the back of some sort of giant ostrich bird bullshit ass animal creature. And I was playing this, I'm saying something. Something was going on though. I looked up into the sky and I could see like a utility station up in the sky and a cloud that was going down on it, and then the cloud would descend back up. It would ascend up and then the cloud would descend down. The cloud would ascend back up, and I could see lightning and electricity. And it was like Christmas. Emma, even my dead mother was still alive. And then I woke up, and I don't know the meaning of this dream. It was a blend of things I was listening to that were causing me to simulcast a dream at the same time. At the same time. So I don't know what's going on. My friend whose birthday was the other day on the second has called me and is wanting to come by because she's going to go thrift store shop, but she has to kill a certain section of time before that. I said, yeah, come on. Please bring me a soda. If you want to come over and kill time, we'll fucking do it. You bring me a soda drink if you can, and I'll be happy. And she's like, okay, yeah, maybe some sugar. I had crazy dreams. all fucking night. Crazy, crazy fucking dreams about dumbass shit that I don't fully understand at all. Some of them seems like you could understand them perhaps, but then it were not to be made under known by me. The devices, these things. So I don't know. What I do know though is that we call this Cadillac coffee. This is my dad's design. He would take these Swiss Miss motherfucking hot chocolates. He would take them. He would put one of these motherfuckers and coffee. And the two go together fantastic. People don't know about this though. I mean, how would they know? There's nothing to know. You can't always take two great things and put them together and get another great thing. You just don't get that. Sometimes you do, but usually that's not gonna happen. It's just not. It's usually not gonna happen. Come here, kitty cat. Kitty cat, come here. What are you doing? Get over here. She's currently getting her tail. She really feels like that tail is somehow loose, and that she needs to get it. I guess in a perfect world, I would just start the next chapter in this book. In a perfect world. So, in fact, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start case 3. So, if you ain't ready for it, I mean, I ain't, but I'm here. There ain't no choice to me. I mean, it makes sense. Just do it now. Chapter 3. End Times, Third Reich, Sexual Ritual. And I'll transform myself so I don't have to cowboy voice you up. Okay? My father Heinrich was born on 19th February in 1938, about 30 years before myself. I was born on July the 14th, 1968. My mother was Miriam. She too was born about 30 years before myself. My sister Judith about 29 years later, on February the 16th in 1970. So both of my parents had been children during the Second World War. The first years of my father had been very dramatic, rather dramatic. My grandfather Michael has worked as an engineer for the Reichsbahn, a German railway company, during the war. He was come as far as the town of Bakhmach in Ukraine. So my grandmother was taking care of my father in his younger years, his brother Klaus in the city of Karlsruhe in the province of Baden in Germany. I've got a marshmallow in my ear. Karlsruhe had during the war seen some airstrikes by the Allies. My grandmother and father and his younger brother had run to the bunker several times. One time they had lost the younger brother out of the stroller and someone else picked him up and brought him to the bunker. He fell out of the stroller due to the bumping and the jostling. These are things that can happen. Later they had moved to the village where it was safer, but when my father and his younger brother had been there out in the fields outside the village, they had been attacked by an airplane of the Allies and had been shot by machine gun fire. He told us that he had seen the pilots in the cabin of the aircraft. My father had been hiding with his brother in the bushes, and both of them had been hit by the gunfire. This is very high caliber gunfire. All of this had an effect on my father, that he had lived his life through the feelings of fear. He wanted to study history and become eventually a professor of history. His parents had other plans for him. History would be a breadless art, so it would be appropriate to become a chemist and his work in the pharmacy. During his studies for chemistry, my father got to know my mother, who was a fellow student who also grew up in Baden, Germany, Baden, some 20 kilometers away from Heidelberg. As the daughter of a Protestant minister of the Reformed Church, she really did get to know her father after the war. He had been working as a minister during the Wehrmacht. The German armies stationed in France and Germany had conquered it, and also had been for some time in captivity in the war camp in France after the war. And he had given away his food very often to the comrades. My father had lost all of his teeth during the war. He lost all of his teeth, not some of them, all of them. In 1948, he came back from the war, continued his post as a minister of the parish until he died in 1963 in an accident of motorcycling. In the same year, my parents had married and stayed together for all their life until my father died in August 2016. In 1966, twins had been born to my mother, but as an early birth, and they died on the same day. Very horrible. As my mother had been unconscious, my father had found names for the boys so they could be baptized. This was a big traumatic experience for my parents. 2 years later, I had been born in July 14, 1968. Because of all the traumas, my parents had been very overprotective with me. They do not want me to become a deadhead shaman. Buenos dias.
They do have sugar.
If you want more of the book, you'll have to come back later. I'll read it later. I'm reading this mind control book for my people.
Which one is it? Is it the dark
It's
hypnosis?
very fucked up.
That's so weird. I was looking at those books last night.